Hey everyone, I finished watching the first episode of VR Troopers. I was so excited to finally get back and watch VR Troopers again, because I freaking love VR Troopers. When I first saw VR Troopers, it was that weird promo at the beginning of the old Power Ranger tapes. Oh, I actually have a couple of Power Ranger tapes right on hand over here. Why do I have those here? Whatever. Anyway, that promo was really weird for a few reasons. Let's see, Professor Hart is the biggest difference. Now in the show, he's just totally normal guy. Nothing really stands out about him. Julian Combs, I think his name was, the actor who played him. Just normal looking dude. Nothing weird about him. Though in the promo, Professor Hart is this weird, like, big beard guy with a goofy voice. Oh, VR Troopers, come on in, and this and that, and Grimlord is the bad guy. And his face, like the beard, is so weird. Like there's this weird filter over the guy, and when he talks, it looks so weird when the beard moves, like it's CGI, and the guy might not even be human. He might be like some creature that just kind of appears human. Also, the original Professor Hart, I noticed he has like a few stock movements, kind of like Zordon in Power Rangers. Like he like faces forward, he looks down, he looks this way and talks, he moves that way and talks, he looks that way and doesn't talk, he looks that way and doesn't talk. And I'm thinking the original idea with Professor Hart was that, yeah, he was supposed to be like Zordon, so they would only have to shoot him once, then they could do voiceover every time after that. But for whatever reason, they decided against that and went with some guy with no filter over him, no weird voice, just normal dude talking to the troopers, which works. It works really well. I really like Professor Hart in the normal show, but I wonder why in the world they did that. Who knows? Weird thing. I've never been able to find all that much behind the scenes stuff about VR Troopers. So anyway, the normal show opens up with, let's see, the first two characters we're introduced to are Ryan and JB at a karate match. And we really get a feel for their personalities, and it's cool to see, like, karate again. Something that was really prevalent back in the original Mighty Morphin, and a little bit in Zeo, a little bit in Turbo, and then it just kind of dropped. It's so weird. Karate and like martial arts, philosophy type of thing was a big part of the early Power Ranger seasons, and then it just left. I remember when Beast Morphers premiered and they were in karate practice. I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! I'm so glad they're bringing that back." And then it went nowhere. All right. I don't know. I kind of wish that if they were going to keep copying Mighty Morphin stuff and trying to recapture what Mighty Morphin was, that they would bring back the karate thing. But they never seem to do it in any substantial way. So anyway, back to VR Troopers. Next up is Caitlin, who works at a newspaper place with Woody, her silly, quirky manager. So it's a nice little introduction for Woody. Caitlin is sent off to report on the demolition of a historic building. She takes her friends along, Ryan and JB. Ryan also takes his dog, Jeb. He takes Jeb with him a lot. So then, while they're going to check out the demolition thing, they're discussing Carl Zichter, the businessman responsible for the demolition. He wants to build a new nuclear power plant there. And then we see Carl Zichter. He's a cartoonishly evil person who cackles and and he has a pet iguana that he's petting while he pontificates to himself about how he's gonna take over the world or whatever. He has these couple of identically dressed women behind him who all transform into gold-headed robots or creatures or something. They don't say in the first episode. It's just a weird thing that happens. Oh, there's a line Carl Zichter has in the promo that I kind of wish was in here because it's a funny line. Let's see. He's sitting in his chair petting the iguana. That sounds dirty. And he says, "What does a man who owns half the world, or what could a man who owns half the world possibly want?" That's right. The other half. I love that line. It's cheesy, but it's like evil in a cartoony, silly way. So then, let's see, at Tao Jojo, JB is on the computer, and he's talking to Ryan about, geez, Tao's never gone through his books before. There's all these, and he's talking about like unpaid bills or whatever, which is kind of a funny thing. It reminds me of like when people would talk about how Ernie was a terrible businessman in Power Rangers because he's never seen making a sale. Well, yeah, it's a kid's show. Did you really want like uh excessive footage spent on business transaction? Hmm. So whatever. It's a little thing just to like portray that JB is the smart one of the group. He's like got some financial knowledge. Also, it's meant to show that these characters are older than the Power Rangers are. The Power Rangers are high school students. The VR Troopers, they have jobs. Uh, they're dealing with more mature subjects and like that, whatever. And suddenly they get a message over the computer from someone named Professor Hart. And he says that he has a message from Ryan's father. And Ryan's like, my father? How can that be? He's been missing for 10 years. And so then, let's see, we're back at Carl Zichter's headquarters, and he's informed that Ryan received Hart's message, and he's infuriated by this. So he puts his hand on this crystal ball thing that he has. Forces of darkness, empower me! Take me back to my virtual reality! And then lightning shoots up, and he transforms into this wrinkly faced guy with white hair, and then that transforms into Grimlord, this wrinkly faced guy with a helmet sitting on a throne in front of a bunch of monsters. Okay, cool. Now I remember seeing some of this when I was really little, and this blew me away. I freaking loved Grimlord. I loved the army of monsters there. I always loved seeing like this big army of monsters. In Power Rangers, whenever they would bring back a whole bunch of old monsters and have them all like in a crowd together, I always thought that was just the coolest thing ever. So, let's see. Da-da-da. He calls forward a bunch of minions. Let's see. He raises his hand and summons General Ivar. Ivar, report! And he shoots lightning, and this big screen appears, and Ivar's in the thing. I'm here for you, sire. And then, let's see. Da-da-da-da. He sends out two of his robots, Air Striker and Fighter Bot, to stop Ryan and his friends from finding Professor Hart. So, let's see. Ryan and his friends, they're getting their car shot at. They run out. They're running through the woods. They come to this bridge. Come on, guys, we gotta cross that bridge. But then they can't cross the bridge because the monsters freaking blow it up. Jerks. So anyway, then they're running away. They get out of the woods. I guess they lost Air Striker and Fighter Bot. Those sound like Transformers names. Anyway, they find this weird archway in the middle of a field, and they're like, whoa, what's that thing? Let's go in. So then they go in. Oh yeah, they hear Professor Hart's voice. He also tells them to, like, hey, come on in. Oh, okay, cool. Go. So they go in, and then, let's see, they find themselves in a mysterious laboratory. Yeah, the archway transports them somewhere. I don't think that's ever explained exactly in VR Troopers. Anyway, they meet Professor Hart, who's still on a screen. Huh. So yeah, he doesn't have a physical body, he's just talking through a screen. Oh, kind of like Dr. K in RPM. I wonder if this was an inspiration for that. So he gives them each a pair of VR visors, which allows them to see into the virtual world, and there's a message from Ryan's father. He warns them about Grimlord, which is the name of Carl Zichter's secret identity. He explains that they'll need to become VR troopers to stop him. Then he talks about the battle grid and all the stuff they'll face, and then Hart gives them the virtualizers that allow them to transform into VR troopers. Let's see, then outside, Grimlord's forces are attacking, and so then the three have to transform and split up to take out the monsters. JB and Caitlin destroy one of the monsters, but Ryan is injured, falls down into a valley, and then Caitlin and JB go back to the laboratory, and they're like, we lost contact with Ryan. And then we see Ryan down in the valley. He's still transformed, but he appears to be unconscious. Or is he? To be continued. Really cool first episode. It's a really strong premiere. It does a great job of introducing the characters. it moves at a really quick pace. And for our first episode, it's kind of weird. We don't see all 3 VR troopers all together. Yeah, that was a weird thing. Like, yeah, I know it's because it's 2 different shows put together, but it seems like they have American suits. This first episode should be a place to use them. They do use the American Metalder suit for the end. Oh, and they do show the Battle Grid suits, which is a cool little tease for the future. Let's see. Da 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 da. Oh yeah, Carl Zichter, over the top villain. Kind of weird because Grimlord isn't really a goofy villain. I don't know. As a teenager, when I was watching VR Troopers, it never really struck me as weird or off or anything. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I couldn't really think of too much to say about this. I love VR Troopers. I love this first episode. Not a whole lot to say about it, other than it was really good. I really liked it. Oh, one of the other weird things, Jeb doesn't talk in this yet. I think he gets the ability to talk in the next episode or the episode after that. So, let's see. It's really weird hearing him just make normal dog noises. Because after this, it's always the Jack Nicholson voice. It's never, like, just making dog noises. That's all I want to say, I guess. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.